Goeienaand. Good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. Yes, it's a big day today. We're going to have that t-shirt auction, and I'll be putting it on later for the live stream. Now, I'm up really early this morning. I'm hoping to hear from Willem so we can have a look at this hookup for the live stream at 8 p.m. All right, let's start off with this absolutely ridiculous article in a South African paper that just appeared. And this is a shout out to Michaela, who brought this to my attention. Okay, it reads as follows. And I'll be making comments as we go through this, believe me. A UK-based club for South African and Zimbabwean expats seemingly believes former President Nelson Mandela was evil, a terrorist, and should have been hanged. Well, he was a terrorist. That's a wake-up call. He was a terrorist. The ANC were a terrorist group, and he personally authorized quite a few bombings and attacks that killed people. That's called terrorism, you know. But, of course, the loony left media don't see it that way, do they? But on its webpage, the Springbok Club displays the flag of apartheid South Africa and still refers to Zimbabwe as Rhodesia. So what's wrong with that? You know, it's like making shock and horror. And I'll be putting the Springbok Club's Facebook link down below. So if you want to join, go ahead. I have. Any publicity is good publicity, so they say. It also has a penchant for conspiracy theories, particularly relating to the alt-right concept of white genocide. Oh my God. I wonder who wrote this article. The alt-right concept of white genocide. How is that a concept? How is something that's real a concept? You know, the club is making headlines in the UK after leading UK Independent Party UKIP MEP Stuart Agnew made a speech at the club. Well, good on him. It's a free world. UKIP is ahead. UKIP is... she said... It's 1 o'clock in the morning here. Okay, just get over it. UKIP is a hard, Eurosceptic, right-wing political party in the UK. Agnew told The Guardian he did not support apartheid, but there was a possible argument to establish a homeland for white South Africans. Absolutely. I think that's the best solution, but I don't think it's going to happen, guys, because there's just so... unless the whole country implodes and the whites can move to a particular area and just barricade themselves in, which is certainly a possibility. According to The Guardian, Agnew's speech on April the 6th was made at an event marking the 100th anniversary of the birth of Ian Smith, the last Prime Minister of white-governed Rhodesia. David Lawrence, a researcher at Hope Not Hate, which monitors far-right groups, told The Guardian UKIP's continued drift further and further far-right is no longer a surprise, but it is still shocking. The fact that an elected MEP is addressing this sort of vile organisation shows the scale of the challenges we face. Now, here's a wake-up call for you, David Lawrence. The challenges we face are idiots like you, the lefties who are totally destroying the world we know. Totally destroying the world we know. And it's becoming a bit of a joke what's going on around the world today. Bit of a joke in a sad way because, society is just collapsing. It's morally corrupt. There's no sense of right anymore. It's because of loony lefties like you. That's why. Okay, moving on with this ridiculous article. The club's aims, according to its membership application form, are to bring together those Southern Africans living in exile and others who support the aims and objectives of the organisation on a regular, social and informative basis. 2. Inform all those of a similar background still living in the African continent of our support for their right and liberties and our concern for their current dangers which they may be facing. And 3. Lobby the powers that be in the world, outside the world, about the anarchistic state of current-day Southern Africa and to advocate that steps be taken to restore civilized rule. In a section called Terrorist Watch, it displays a poster with an image of a young Mandela and the words, "Hang Nelson Mandela and all ANC terrorists. They are butchers." And they are. Yeah, I totally endorse what they say. The club describes itself as a social organisation of expatriate Southern Africans and their friends based in London. It was founded in 1996 as a merger between the White Rhino Club and the Rhodesian Forum and was formally constituted at the beginning of 1999. Although concerned with the plight of those still living under deteriorating circumstances in Southern Africa, its main aim is to bring together those living in exile at a social level. It holds regular monthly meetings in the London area featuring interesting guest speakers reporting on the current situation in South Africa, as well as speakers who support its basic aims and objectives. It also has a growing branch structure both in the UK and around the Western world, and many of these branches also hold regular social and informal get-togethers, the club says on its site. The site features an interview with its organiser, Alan Harvey, in which he states many of the club's members were early victims of affirmative action in the new South Africa during the 1990s and were thus forced to leave the country. Now, all the stuff that they're quoting from the site is factually correct. It's ridiculous that this is making a story just because a guy from UKIP went and spoke to them. Anyway, in the interview, Harvey defends the club's use of the apartheid flag and for using dated names such as Rhodesia and Transvaal. Rhodesia was undoubtedly one of the greatest success stories of Africa. The nation rose from barren shrubs to become the breadbasket of Africa in a few short decades. Now, alas, this breadbasket has changed into the basket case of Zimbabwe. Rhodesia is a name which can therefore be mentioned with pride, whereas the name Zimbabwe in both senses represent nothing more than a pile of ruins, Harvey says. What's wrong with that? That's spot on the money. Hit the nail on the head. They're quoting this like it's factually incorrect. The real South African flag took over 2 years to design before its official adoption in 1927 and was agreed upon by a non-political commission who held consultations with and obtained agreement from all political parties. It was thus a completely neutral and unifying flag which all South Africans could feel proud of, quite unlike the present underpants design which was unilaterally imposed upon the country by the ANC-NP alliance. Harvey also believes both Zimbabwe and South Africa were better off pre-democracy. There's anyone who doesn't believe that? You've got to have absolute rocks in your head if you think that Zimbabwe and South Africa are better off today than before they got their democracy. This article is just ridiculous. When the past, in the Southern African context at any rate, was so self-evidently better than the present, then surely there is nothing wrong with having an affinity with it, Harvey said. And he goes on to say, during Dr. Hendrik Verwoerd's day, all South Africans enjoyed a far higher standard of life than they do today. Incomes in real terms were higher, Everyone could travel in the city centres and throughout the platteland in complete safety. Babies were not raped in the deranged belief that it cured AIDS. The rand was an internationally respected currency. Employment was so high that labour had to be imported from neighbouring African states. Power failures were unknown. Taxation for all was low. Need I say any more? Harvey says, however, the club is not racially motivated. If you mean do we recognise and respect the various ethnic and cultural differences between people, then the answer is yes. If you mean do we hate and oppose people just because of their differences, then the answer is definitely no. It is unknown how many members the Springbok Club has. Like most organisations, we never like to divulge membership figures. All I will say is that of late, our memberships have been rising well, Harvey states on its website. Its Facebook page has been liked by 278 people, and it has 3 followers on Twitter. So there you go, guys. Another extreme right website. I wonder if Facebook will take it down now. You know, we live in an absolutely crazy world. But as I said, I will link this Facebook page down below. I'm going to be joining it. You know, good on them. We need more organisations like this telling the truth about South Africa, so that we can counteract the lies of newspapers like the one I've just quoted from. All right, guys, I'll see you tonight at 8 p.m. Johannesburg time. I'll put a link directly below this video. Remember to subscribe and click the bell there so that you'll be alerted when we go live. And as I said, tonight we're auctioning the t-shirt. Take care. Bye for now.